Hey my friends, this is Daniel Aldie, and today I want to talk with you about a very important subject. And that subject is about regret. See, a lot of times people go through the motions and they live this life that they don't really care about. And in the end, they fall into this fear and despair, and they are so worried about all the things that they did and also didn't do in their life. And this video, I want to let you know that regret is one of the worst things that can ever happen. You know, when people look back in their 20s and 30s and 40s, they think about what they could have done to minimize their regrets. And so what I want to remind you today is that you only got one shot to do it right. There's no redos. You can't just say, I want to be 24 again, because that time is gone, right? That time will never come back. You only had 1 year to be 24. You only have 1 year to be 52. You only have 1 year to be the age that you are right now. And so if you are thinking about what you could have or would have or should have done, then it's too late. What you gotta do is focus on what you can do today. Take control and live a life without regret so you can have memories that you'll never forget. And what this means is that you need to take inventory of all your opportunities. Because the reality is that it's far easier to make mistakes than it is to have success. In other words, there's more wrong things to do in this world than there are right ones. And I'll give you an example of this, because even think about tomorrow, right? Tomorrow didn't come, but there's so many wrong things that you can do. You can go out there and gamble. You can go out there and fight people. You can go out there and listen to the wrong music. You can go out there and argue with someone. There's so many wrong things that can happen tomorrow. But there's only one right thing to do. There's only one path that you can take. And that path is 100% correct. It's the path that God has created for you since you were even born. But in order to connect with that path, you have to connect with God. You have to talk with Him, right? Because you don't want to live your life and be like, man, you know, the last 50 years, that was a waste. That's what most people do, right? They do that because they didn't take time to connect with God. You know, the number one reason why people regret anything is because they didn't listen to where God wanted to take them. They didn't follow His orders. You know, there's only two things that you have to do in your life. And if you do these two things, you'll be set permanently. You have to pray and you have to obey. And praying is seeking discernment, right? It's seeking the answers that you need in order to succeed. And once you have those answers, the next thing you have to do is obey. Obeying means you have to take action on the things that He told you to do. There's a lot of times where people know they should start a business, but they don't do it because they're too afraid. Why are they afraid? Because it doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it make sense? Because they look at their money or they look at their situation and they say, well, God, I can't do this. Who am I to do it? My friends, if I did that when I started, I would never be talking to you today. But the reason why I'm here is because I was able to see the invisible, and now I'm able to do the impossible. You know, when I began my journey, I was considered a failure. I was on drugs. I was broke. I was confused. I didn't even know what to do. I didn't know where to look, where to turn to. But all I did was I said, you know what? I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna put my focus on God. And that's all I did, right? I read the Bible, and then I read a succession of many books. Eventually hundreds turned into 1,000 books. Then I said, you know what? I think I have an idea, right? Because when you study and you learn so much about yourself, and you struggle through those truths that you learn within those books, then you come to a conclusion. And then I said to myself, you know what? All the things I studied, I know exactly where I want to go. I know exactly who I want to become. I know exactly how I want to serve other people. And so I became the leader that I could not find. I looked everywhere. I couldn't find anyone who was doing the thing that I wanted to do. And so I became that person. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Maybe you're surrounded in an environment that might be adverse to you. Maybe you're in a place where everything is negative. It's all poverty around you. Well, now you have to do something about it. Maybe you're looking at a patch of land and you're like, you know what? I can have a business right there. Maybe you're a teacher in school and you're like, you know what? These kids, if they understood what I had to teach them, then they'll know how to do their homework. Or maybe you might see something in the world that needs to change that no one is doing anything about. If anything, this is what motivates us the most. What motivates us is seeing the change that could happen right before our eyes. I mean, just think about it, right? Think about the people who are giving you the hardest time in life, right? Maybe you're dealing with someone right now, and if you saw a change in their attitude, that would make you happy, right? Well, it's the same thing. If you see the changes in products and services and environments and people over a long period of time, what begins to happen is that you become happy. And if you can see change over a long period of time, then you'll minimize your regret. Instead of saying, you know what, I wish I could have gotten in shape, or I wish I would have stopped smoking cigarettes, or I wished I would have treated my wife or husband better than I do today, then maybe you won't have those regrets in the future. And that's exactly where you need to start. Maybe you're doing something right now that has to change today. You know, I was talking to a business owner that makes $1 million a month. And I told him, if there's anything that you're going to regret in the future, is that you did not save money. Because all he does is that he spends every single dollar he makes. And I said, you know what? You're getting close to retirement age. You only have about 10 years left. And if you continue on this path, you will be broke. He said, you know what, Daniel, you're right. Because if he just took $500,000 a month, which is basically $6 million a year in 10 years, that's $60 million. And with his lifestyle, he will be fine, trust me. So what I want you to do right now is to make a list of the things that you have to change so you don't have to regret your failures in the future. I mean, think about it. What do you have to change right now? Maybe you gotta change your eating habits. Maybe you're like that guy, you gotta change your spending habits. Maybe you have to change the way you're talking to people, or even the assumptions you're making about other people. You know, I'm a big basketball fan. I heard this assumption I hear all the time. Michael Jordan would be nothing without Scottie Pippen. I mean, just think about it. Why would someone even assume that you cannot be successful without having your teammate? You need your teammate. Don't knock someone just because they have someone else to help them. A lot of times people live in this toxic mindset where they think they could just criticize anyone. They could just make comments online with no repercussions. But my friends, you have to watch the way you think so that you can watch the way you live. Now, if you're able to change your mentality, you'll be able to change your reality and you'll live a life of no regrets. So watch your thoughts, watch your actions, and watch your results. Because if you change the way you view things, you'll change the way you do things. And if you change the way you do things, you'll change the way you conclude things. Because that's what it's all about. Live a life that's worth fighting for. Live a life where you know in the end of the day, you can say that you have done your best. Because that is what success is all about. So there you go, my friends. This is Daniel Aldie, and I just shared with you how to minimize your regret. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and please turn on your notifications so I can keep on sending you videos just like this one. If you have any questions or stories that you want to share with me, please write me an email at info@danielaldie.com. I look forward to your success, I look forward to your prosperity, I look forward to everything that you do for the rest of humanity. Again, this is Daniel Aldie, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.